It is now 5:30. I will now call the select board meeting for December 16th to order. If you can please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah. Our first appointment is for tax classification hearing for fiscal year 2025. The town of Granby notice a public hearing, Granby Selectboard tax classification. The select board will hold a public hearing on Monday, December 16th, 2024 at 5:31 p.m. at 10B West State Street, COA building, to decide whether or not all classes of property should be taxed at the same rate. Crystal L. Dufresne, David A. Levante, and Glenn L. Sexton, Granby Selectboard. So, hello, come on up.
My name's Bill Porter. I've lived on Cedar Drive for 47 years. I've been an assessor on the Board of Assessors for 21 years. This is the document I think you have, something similar to this.
Yes.
This is what we're going to be following.
Okay.
Basically, what the Board of Assessors is recommending is a single tax rate of $15.37 for the coming year. It's actually the last sentence. And I'll tell you how we get to that information. You certainly can read this, but the real information we're going to talk about is on the next page. It looks like this. It should be the next page in the document. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Values.
Thank you. The second box down tells you the average and median value of homes in Granby in 2024 and for the tax year 2025. And they have gone up, but not very much. The average has gone up from $394,779 to $400,007, which is $5,200. And the median has gone up, as you can see the numbers there, it's $4,950. And each of those is less than 2%. It's about 1.5% on each of those. And I want to tell you that that's an enormous difference from last year. Last year, the values went up over 15%, and the year before they went up over 10%. So they're still going up, but nowhere near what they were going up previously. That's just information to tell you where we're going. The next box down shows you that the residential value of real estate in town is 90.7%. And last year it was, and this year it's 89.9%. So it's gone down just a little bit, which means commercial and personal property are going up, but it's very small. It's still very small. You have a chart, I think, like this.
Yep.
Yes. Now we're going to be talking about the single tax rate. And obviously, single tax rate means all properties are taxed at the same rate. And every town has the option of choosing a single tax rate or a split tax rate. There's 351 towns or communities in Granby, in Massachusetts, and 250 of them choose a single tax rate. And so that's a little over 71%. And we're recommending that. The municipalities that choose a split tax rate usually are cities. Small towns don't. In Hampshire County, there's 20 communities, and all 20 have single tax rates. But I want to show you what the difference would be if it's a split tax rate. And I realize I have an advantage here because I've magic marked mine. But you come down 5% over here.
Yep.
And then you go way over to the far corner, the far one, and the tax rate would be 1528. It would drop from 1537 to 1528 if there was a 5% shift. And then the next one down I did was 10% shift, and it would go from 1537 to 1520. So there's about approximately an 8 cent shift for every 5% that you change it. And it really doesn't add up to very much money in terms of changing the taxes for homeowners. And there's so little commercial property and personal property in town that the Board of Assessors recommends a single tax rate. I can give you more information, but I guess I want to answer any questions that you might have.
No, I think last year when I don't think it was you, Mr. Porter, but I think it was Mr. Leonard that came before us and explained the same thing. I mean, we had 10% businesses, less than 10%. So
It's actually, we have less than 10% business, but yes, you're in the right ballpark. We
yeah.
have 10% between business and personal property.
Oh, personal property. Okay.
If you look on this chart right up here at this corner, you can see that the business and industrial is about 5% and personal property is 5%.
Okay.
And residential is 90%. And the biggest personal property is the utility poles and things that deal with the utilities.
For the personal property.
That's what the biggest personal property is. And if you may remember from last year, and you may not, but last year the personal property percentage went up quite a bit in town because a court case was settled. And we didn't take the court case, but it had to do with the utilities, and the utilities finally conceded and lost, and that increased all the value of their personal property in every town, including Granby. As you realize, we have a very small business area anyway, and so it's very confined where it is.
I don't have any questions. I don't know if either of you have any questions for Mr. Porter.
No, I think it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I didn't think I have anything either. I mean, it's been this way for so long, and with that little bit of commercial property,
I'm sorry, David.
with that little bit of commercial property, the 5% or less.
Oh, it doesn't. You're right.
Yeah,
And
it's very,
and
very
the other thing I
limited.
didn't tell you on this chart, if the residential goes down the 8 cents, commercial property goes up
Goes up.
77 cents for every 5%.
Okay.
You know, it's very disproportionate.
So,
And I think we said this last year too, with having so little businesses in town, we don't want to drive their tax rate up so high that they leave.
Exactly. Or they don't, we drive it up so high that they don't want to come.
Yeah.
The new ones. I agree. I understand.
Yeah.
And that's why small towns keep usually a single tax rate.
Right. So if the board doesn't have any questions for Mr. Porter, we just need a motion to accept the single tax rate.
I will make a motion to accept the single tax rate for the town of Granby, Massachusetts. For
1537.
of 1537
Per thousand.
for fiscal year 25. So,
Yep, 1537 per thousand per fiscal.
I'm sorry, 1537 per thousand.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
No discussion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chris, was there a paper that we need to sign for that, right?
There should be
In the
one.
appointments? All three on the lines? I'm gonna pass it your way and then you can pass it down. You can pass it back afterwards. Thank you. All right, Chris, we have 5 minutes until our next appointment. Have anything for us for town administrator?
Sure. In the correspondence, you'll notice there was a letter from EPA indicating that we have until June 30th, 2025 to have a set of stormwater bylaws in place. If they are not in place, then we will be subject to fines. Okay, David, myself, and Patty Gavaccini from PVPC had a joint telephone conversation with people from the EPA, and they granted us the extension until then to get this done.
So would that have to be part of our town meeting?
I would
June or-
suggest that it would be a meeting of its own. Because you have that bylaw, and I don't know if the board wants to bring back the additional dog bylaw with revisions from the last town meeting.
And then, I know we're waiting on the recall bylaw too, but that doesn't have to go in front of the town again, though.
No,
That's just
that does
being
not go in
reviewed.
front of town
Okay.
meeting again, correct.
And we have until May or June.
June.
June 30th of 2025, yes. The second topic I want to talk to you about is Ann Goby from the state had reached out to the town regarding the one-stop application process. And we had conversations regarding the West Street building project. And the problem that becomes is a one-stop grant is a reimbursable grant. So in order for us to apply for it, we may need an additional appropriation for that project to complete a portion of the building that would qualify for this one-stop for growth grant. The question would be is, would the board be willing to support the request for additional funding once you get farther into this budget process and the grant application process? It's 100% reimbursable. Okay. And the town of Granby has not received any grant money under this program since its inception. And they are very willing to meet with the committee and representatives from the town as often as needed. Try and get through this to be able to get some money from the state.
What, part of the project would it, or is that kind of the details that need to be worked out with the committee?
Well, I think the committee has some ideas. It's revolving around possibly the kitchen area and the room area. Originally, the thought was to have a kitchen facility just to provide lunches for the elderly. But if we expand upon that and make it a food center where anybody in town who can't afford a lunch, can't afford a breakfast, can come and get a meal, that the town knows that our residents are being taken care of, nutritional, for at least 2 meals a day. You know, I don't want to speak for the committee because I'm really not on the committee anymore, but I don't know if Lynn or Jim Trumpy would have anything they want to add to it, but that's where I see we would be going. That way we're trying to fit into an economic development type of portion under this grant process.
So it would be a process in which we would go in front of the taxpayers and ask them to provide the funding that would then be 100% reimbursable. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah. I don't see why we wouldn't, and we've got options or an opportunity to receive additional funds. That's gonna reimburse us and make the project, everything better, it sounds as well, so why wouldn't we take that opportunity?
Yeah, I think the committee would benefit by meeting with them and seeing what they can offer. Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
I think the more we get done in the building now, the better off we'll be, if we can do it that way.
Correct.
So,
And we've always had an idea in the back of our head to make that more of a community center also.
Yeah.
You know, to be able to give a place for people to come and relax, have a good meal, maybe conduct, some of the organizations can come in and conduct, their meetings in that room or in the building and so on and so forth too. Basically make it a community-wide type of building, not just municipal offices.
All right, well, it's 5:46, so we'll put the rest of the TA business on hold for a moment. All right, so next is to affirm appointment of associate member to the Conservation Commission. So the Granby Conservation Commission is asking for Ann Batter to be an associate member of the Conservation Commission. And she has been with the Conservation Commission meetings or been to the meetings for over 6 months now. And they're looking to have her join as soon as possible. So I don't know if the board has questions for Ann. She is here tonight.
And that appointment will be through June 30th of
Of 2025.
2025. Yes.
I don't see why not. She's taking interest in it. She wants to be part of it.
just been sitting through meetings.
For 6 months of the meetings. So. You want the paper?
Yeah.
Okay. That's okay.
Thank you.
We got a lot of papers.
Do. Okay, so I will make a motion that Ann Batter can join the Granby Conservation Commission as an associate member with an expiration date of June 30th, 2025.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
Discussion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Right. Next is to affirm appointment of the member of the COA Advisory Committee. So we received a letter from Lillian Camus about the COA board at its November 20th, 24 meeting. They voted unanimously to recommend the select board approve Lynn Zabin, thank you, to fill a vacant full director seat on the board. So this leaves them with still 3 vacant full director seats and 1 non-voting member seat. So the COA board unanimously voted, and I think they wouldn't if they didn't want the person. So I think it's a great idea.
Recommends. Yep. Ben, you agree?
Absolutely, yeah.
So I'll make a motion that Lynn Zabin will fill a vacant full director seat on the board for the COA. And how long would that one go? It's an unexpired term.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. 6 till 6/30/2025.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, 10 minutes to our next appointment, Chris. Anything else for us?
Not really. Let me just talk about the interim fire chief for a little bit.
Yep.
We did put an ad out for the position. And I have 3 applicants for the position.
Nice.
So, first one is former fire chief Russell Anderson. We have former fire chief Dennis School. And we have Lieutenant Nathaniel Masson, who are interested at this point in time.
When was the deadline for the interim?
We never set a deadline.
Okay.
So what I would like to do is set a deadline for no later than December 31st. I mean, if you want to go quicker than that, but I feel gets us past Christmas holiday, and you'll then be looking at bringing people in the first week of January. Yeah.
So the end of this year.
Yeah, I, to me, that brings over the holiday and stuff. Trying to be able to schedule other type of meetings for the board. And be able to-
Yeah, I'd agree. The 31st is fine. Just
Yeah.
more weeks, and then if you have any other people that are interested in applying for it.
Yeah, because on the interim one, Chris, that we received, it said December 20th but I had wrote on there that if we're posting it now, December 20th doesn't really give a lot of time.
No, it doesn't. So that's why I'm looking at trying to just extend it to the 31st. I think that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so as well.
And we can start setting dates for an interview when we want, instead of waiting until our meeting in January and setting dates, and
Right.
we can do that now, so if people are applying, we can actually give them a date that we'll do an interview. So, instead of kind of waiting until January and pushing off a couple more weeks.
And I think the other thing too, Glenn, which you've suggested when you're interviewing, to do it on a separate date than the original meeting.
Yeah.
That way you can just concentrate on the candidates. You want us to look at next week, Chris?
Christmas week.
Okay. So that would put us at the latter week of
No,
December.
After, that we do
Christmas.
it after January 1st.
Oh, I thought you said you didn't want to wait until January 1st
I don't want to wait till January 1st to meet,
to
to
make the
set,
meeting.
to set dates and
Okay.
then notify people, so I think we set the dates now where we can interview. As we get applications, they can start telling them the interview will be this date.
So our select board meetings for next month are the 6th and the 20th, because 20th is a holiday. Yep.
Do you want to look at the second?
Which is a Thursday. I could do the second.
Yeah, let's do a second. You want
You
to
do
wait?
the second.
I can do the second.
Start them at 5:30, Chris. Right.
And Chris, I think if you got any of the resumes sent out to us prior to that, be helpful as well.
Yeah.
Was there anything else, Chris, you can do in 5 minutes before the next appointment?
Well, do you want to do new business number 6?
Yeah, we can do that one.
I
For sure.
did receive a proposal from Waste Management.
Yeah.
For us to extend the curbside collection program for another year to be ending then June 30th of 2026. In it, he indicated that the monthly fee would be $32,406.50. And then he gave me prices for the containers that are located for trash and recycling that are located at various municipal sites. And it's up to the board. Now accept that.
Chris, do you remember what it was prior to this contract? Because it's an extension. So are we just extending the terms? Nothing's changed? Or did the rates change? Okay. By how long? All right. And I know when we had talked about this previously, it was getting the RFP together, putting it out there. The process takes a year.
Process is a good 6 to 12-month process from start to finish.
So really, this extension is to buy us time so that we can get that out there before.
And I will be writing for a technical assistance grant for DEP to assist the board in developing the RFP. We hopefully review the responses. This is just before.
Did that open yet for the DLT grant?
It's not a DLT grant, it's a DEP grant.
DEP, okay. Or do you know? Did it open yet though, or not?
That's open, I can apply in.
Oh, okay. How long have we been contracting with Waste Management?
Our first contract with them was in July of 2016. We put out a second bid. Actually, no. July of 2016, we were with Republic. In 2020, we put out another bid and Waste Management won it. When that expired, Waste Management turned around and offered a 5-year extension on that project or on that contract. We accepted it, so now we're at the end of that extension.
Okay.
And I was looking for a 1-year extension to give us time to do the bidding process.
I wasn't here part of the other 2 contracts, so I don't know if $8,000 is a lot to go up on municipal waste
Seems like it, but
for a year.
I don't think it is.
Not. No, when we read it on the warrants, it sounds like it's a lot going out between that and recycling.
Trash is a.
The cost of trash removal is getting very expensive.
it is. It's crazy.
There's less and less places for companies to bring their trash to. I mean, these type of companies, so they're, some of them ship it out as far as like Ohio with to dispose of it, so it's getting costly.
We're currently in the extension,
The 1 year.
the 1-year extension.
Well, no, we're in the 5-year extension at the end of that extension.
We're at the 5 year, we're at the 5 year contract
We're
at the end.
End of the 5-year
Right.
extension. That would have been June 30th, 2025. We don't have enough time to go through an RFP process. So I contacted him and asked if we could get the 1-year extension. So
Right.
that we can then go out and do another RFP for a 3-year contract.
Okay.
Hoping that there will be a interest in multiple companies that can perform the service for us.
Yes, we do. If you're in favor of it.
Okay, I will make a motion to accept the 1 year extension of contract of solid waste and recycling collection between the town of Granby and Waste Management of Massachusetts.
And you just read that contract period.
Contract period extension offer July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2026 at a rate of $32,406.80 per month.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
Discussion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Chris, do you need a signature on that? Okay. All right, so our appointment for 6 o'clock to affirm appointment for the provisionary full-time police officer.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I had the police advisory board get together and they nominated Brian Bartlett to be the next full-time police officer here in the town of Granby. Brian's been with the department since 2013, joining auxiliary, went part-time in 2015. And hopefully after today, an appointment on January 4th to become full-time police officer with the town of Granby. Prior to that, he was with the fire department since 2010 to 2016, I believe. So, right, and he is a resident of the town and he's done a great job for us over the years.
And you said January 4th?
January 4th, was it 4th or 5th, Kathy? It's the Sunday. I think it's the 5th, actually, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Officially the 5th.
Okay.
And then for 90 days.
That'll be for 90 days. That'll be his probationary period. And then we'll go to June and then go from there.
All right.
Brian's here if you want to have any conversation with him.
I think it's great. You've been in the town since 2013, starting with volunteering and everything, and been very involved. Do you have any questions, Glenn?
Why Granby?
So I grew up in South Hadley. It was nearby. Got some friends in the town, had some family in the town at the time. And at the time I was working in town. I like this community. I like, plain and simple, I like the people, I like the community, and I want to stay here.
And do you think this will be a long-term decision for you? Will you stay
Yes.
for your future or
Yes.
as a stepping stone? I hate to say it that way, but some people do that.
Yeah, I'm not looking for this to be a stepping stone.
All right. Do you have any questions?
I'm good.
All right.
Yeah, no.
I will,
Motion.
yep, I will make a motion to accept the Police Advisory Board's recommendation for a full-time officer. Currently Patrolman Ryan Bartholet to be placed in full-time position,
Effective.
effective January 5th, 2025.
I'll second the motion. This is for reforming the appointment. To affirm this appointment.
for appointment. To confirm appointment. So
Expiring 90 days.
it could expire in 90 days.
Well, with the probationary period of 90 days.
Which would be April 5th. And then it comes back in and gets appointed as a regular.
Okay, so as a probationary period from January 5th, 2025 to April 5th, 2025. And then to be appointed afterwards
We wait for
We'll decide then.
as decided.
You already seconded
I think it,
with clarification.
I'll second again.
Okay. Any further discussion?
No discussion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Don't go too far. It's third, man.
Congratulations. Very nice. All right, so we have 8 more minutes before the TA search committee, but would anyone be terribly disappointed if we have the TA search committee come up sooner? Do we have to wait until the posted time, Chris? Okay. Hello.
It's getting early.
Have you received the names?
No, we don't have any of the paperwork on.
Okay, so just to give you a quick, our committee consisted of Brian Hoschild, Kevin O'Grady, Dave DeRocher, Kathy Bronner, Kevin O'Grady, me, and Jen Millette from the Finance Committee. We spent our first meeting organizing. The second meeting, we developed questions. In the last 2 meetings last week, we selected finalists. So for the record, I'll give you their names, and if you have any questions, I don't know what I can tell you, but I'd be glad to try. So our 4 finalists are Scott Butcher, Michael Durham, Shelley Pareda, and Michael Slozik. I can give you this piece of paper when I leave.
So we've got Scott Butcher, Michael Durham,
Shelley Pareda, P-O-R-E-D-A. And Slozik is S-Z-L-O-S-E-K.
and what was the first name of Slowsick?
Michael. So we think between them, they all have qualified, good experience. Some are more experienced at the municipal level, but they all have managerial experience and a pretty good knowledge of how government organizations work.
How many applicants did you have that you by down
I
to?
think the original, we received maybe 16 resumes. We interviewed 6 candidates and we ended up with 4 finalists. Actually, I should include Glenn ex officio.
Right, I do have a conflict of interest disclosure. One of the candidates is a distant relative of mine, Shelley Pareda. She is a cousin. I've seen her in the last 10 years, 3 times at funerals. So I did talk to the state ethics department and spoke to a lawyer today just to see what my options were. And they said, as long as I fill out the 23B, I am able to participate if I can make sure that I am fair and impartial in the hiring process. So I have the 23B that I will fill out and sign. And then I think because I work at the school and I'm at Granby Junior Senior High School, Michael Durham is on the school committee. So I don't have any relationship with him. I've gone in front of him once as a teacher when they've asked me questions about a trip that I was planning for the students. But I do have to fill out a 23B for him as well, just for the fact that he's on the school committee and I work for the school. So I just want to put that out there and let everyone know I will be filing that with the town clerk tomorrow. Does, Chris, do we want to start setting up interviews for the 4 finalists? Set dates, yeah. So again, looking at that, we've already got June 2nd for the interim fire chief. So now we have to figure out when we can interview the 4 finalists. Can the board do June 7th, June 8th,
In January?
or January? My gosh, yes. January 7th, January 8th, or January 9th? Because we already have 6 as our regular meeting, so I don't want to do it at our regular meeting. Yeah. 4 is a lot to do in one night.
I'm open on those days.
You wanna do that Tuesday and Thursday after our meeting?
We can do that. So January 7th at 5:30, Chris. And then Thursday, the 9th.
At 5:30 again.
Yes. Yeah, you can't get here earlier than 5:30, right? No.
If need be, just, I mean, I can't.
5:30 is fine.
5:30.
Yeah, it's fine.
Chris, if you can just remind us, when was your date for, okay. It doesn't leave a lot for training. Right. Leaves 2 weeks. And that's if we hire them right away. Well, thank you guys for all your time on this. I know it was a lot, and I really appreciate it.
It's kind of a pleasure, actually. It was a really good committee, so
That's good.
no regrets. We actually had fun.
Well, good
So-
people on there.
Yeah. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Would you like to start earlier? Do it all in one day? Just from a time point as far as, you know,
How long would you give for interviews for this, Chris? No. So if we started earlier, you're thinking like 3:30?
yeah, I mean, get them on, because I think we're up, you know, time frame.
Yeah.
Helpful.
So we could do all the interviews on Tuesday and then sit on it and then reconvene on Thursday and make our decision. Is that kind of what you were thinking?
So I was thinking that way we can, kind of, if not, we're gonna be into the following week,
Yep.
and then. Cause I, you know, whoever it may be, you know, I'm sure they might have to give it at least a 2 weeks notice somewhere. So that's gonna put us. You know, right up against where Chris's last day is too, so.
Yeah.
So I could do it earlier if that's what you want to know.
Right.
Yeah. Let's do 3:30 on January 7th, Chris, an hour in between. Till 7:30.
So January 7th till 3:30.
And then we'll still keep the meeting on January 9th on Thursday at 5:30 so that we can deliberate and make our decision as a board.
Agreed.
Right, we now have citizen participation. So I have George Randall for the topic of fire chief. Chris, you only got one today? Okay.
Good evening, and thank you for letting me be able to speak on this important matter. For those of you who don't know me, I'm George Randall. I live at 52 Taylor Street. Public safety on the fire side needs to be a priority, and if the town does not get with the times, get their act together, someone's going to get seriously hurt or killed. 7 chiefs in 12 years. It's an average of 1.5 years per chief. That is unacceptable to me as a resident and a retired Granby fireman with 34 years of experience to the town. I'm of the opinion, and I could be wrong, but it's my opinion, that this is a town administrator, select board, and finance committee issue. I'm of the opinion that the town is run like a dictatorship, and if you go against the grain and aren't a yes person, you're targeted. I could be wrong in that. I refer you back to the Finance Committee meeting in May. I brought my complaints to a Select Board meeting. I'm of the opinion that the comments made by the Finance Committee members against the fire chief, the town administrator, and the Select Board, it fostered and festered a hostile work environment for the fire chief, and the rest that followed is now history. Finance Committee members are appointed by the town moderator. It is my hope that this administration has spoken with the town moderator to give guidance to the moderator for her to deal with the inappropriate comments made about the fire chief, the town administrator, and the select board members. Regarding the fire chief directly, I have served on the last 2 search committees, and I'm ready to serve on the next fire chief search committee. I won't discuss the last chief, but it was my comment to the town administrator that they made an error in judgment with whom they hired 20 minutes after that decision was made. Eventually, my comments were proven correct. I served on the search committee that recommended Chief O'Neill to the town. I have always maintained that if you had a major malfunction at your house, this is the man you wanted to be there to make the decisions. He was tactically and strategically brilliant. He was big into training and recruiting. While he may have been weak administratively, he could surround himself with others to help him, including the town administrator, board of selectmen, and past interim fire chiefs. It's unfortunate that a paramedic member was out on medical leave and 2 firemen were away at fire training school. These shifts had to be covered. Other EMTs and firemen covered those shifts, and those people had to be paid, most likely at time and a half. That was covered in the first town meeting. I too was surprised when it rolled over into the second town meeting budget. I wish the fire chief had advised you of the nightmare that he inherited and that he had calculated a large amount into the budget to cover the second time around. I assume that the chief met with the town administrator and the board of selectmen prior to the annual town meeting, and you folks were advised accordingly. If he did, and you were aware, you failed the fire chief and hung him out to dry. He did not fail the town failed him. That's my opinion. Shame on the town if that's the case. While I'm not privileged to the inner workings of what happened to cause this man to resign, I'm privileged to express my disappointment. How I wish he had taken advantage of the strong chief's law. For those that don't know, once appointed, the fire chief is basically appointed for life. The fire chief is the one who has total control and responsibility over all aspects of the fire department and the building that houses the fire department. He makes the decision, he or she makes the decisions, hopefully in the best interest of the town. How I wish he had advised you of that. Maybe he did. We wouldn't be here tonight and faced with finding another fire chief. He was well liked by all his staff, unlike the fire chief who was not liked and was basically despised. I have heard many compliments about Chief O'Neill. I have asked people to send those compliments to the Board of Selectmen and copy to the town administrator. Regarding finding a new chief, if you were a fire officer in some department and considering a chief position, you would do your research of this town, hopefully very carefully. You would see the issues that plagued the last 3 chiefs and the interims. It's been all the papers. Chiefs talk to chiefs, etc., etc. Would you apply? The correct answer is, well, maybe, maybe not. A replacement is going to be a difficult search. But if I'm appointed to your search committee, I will do my due diligence for the town. In conclusion, I feel the town owes Chief O'Neill an apology and an offer to come back to work. While he may lack experience administratively, his tactics and strategy were brilliant. We'll be hard pressed to find another. I think we could have developed this man, but we failed. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Okay.
So Chris, before I move on to new business, do you have anything else for the town administrator? Okay. So for new business, we have accept departmental reports.
I will make a motion to accept the departmental reports.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
No discussion.
I did notice on the COA, one of the departmental reports is dated January 13th. So if we can have the director go in and change that to December 13th. And Chris, I just had a question. I'm not sure if this is something for Jeremy, but the highway department does fluid film or a wool box underneath the truck bodies so that they don't rust. And I noticed in Jeremy's report that they put the sanders on, but they didn't talk about doing any of the fluid film of the wool box. So I know the sander is fairly new and the truck is new. So do you know if maintenance also does that? Just something to try and preserve the body of the trucks over time.
Some of the newer trucks are coated.
They're already coated when they're
Yep.
given to you. That is something that you have to do every year,
Some actually have coating on them from the
Yeah.
factory or active back.
like a clear coating, and then
It's like it's some rubber type coating, so it protects the frame.
all in favor?
Aye.
All right, next is the mini warrants. So next is to approve and sign maintenance warrants.
Yeah, make a motion that the town of Granby authorize for payment warrant number 80 dated 6/30/2024 for fiscal year 25. Total disbursement for warrant 80, $261,924.92.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
No discussion.
So Chris, this was just an internal correction for something was missed on a payment. This is 80, warrant number 80 for fiscal year 20. Okay. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
I will make a motion, the town of Granby authorize for payment warrant number 34S dated 11/29/2024 for fiscal year 25 with a total disbursement for warrant 34S of $394,921.45.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
No discussion.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Thank you.
I will make a motion that the town of Granby authorize for payment warrant number 35 dated 12/4/2024, fiscal year 25, in the sum of $579,000, $579,010.31.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
No discussion.
I will be abstaining from the selectmen and teacher's salary. All in favor?
Aye. Myself and David will vote out of necessity for the selectman salary.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion that the town of Granby authorize for payment warrant number 36 dated 12/6/2024 for fiscal year 25 with a total disbursement for warrant 36 of $249,186.55.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion, town of Granby authorized for payment warrant number 37 dated 12/13/2024 for fiscal year 25 with a total disbursement for warrant 37 of $225,372.57.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
No discussion.
Chris, can I ask you for the annual town meeting, do you remember how much was allocated for that fencing for the COA? What the total disbursement was that the taxpayers agreed to off the top of your head?
It was close to what we spent.
Okay, I was just curious if it was lower or more.
So it
Okay.
was a little bit more that we appropriated.
Okay. And the EDM studio for the special town meeting on 12/11/23?
That is the architect or designer
Okay.
that we have, Granby West Street building.
Okay. Perfect, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Switch.
I will make a motion, the town of Granby authorize for payment warrant number 37S dated 12/13/2024 for fiscal year 25 with a total disbursement for warrant 37S of $120,792.93.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, next on the new business is to approve and sign fiscal year 24 encumbrance letters.
These are the actual copies.
Yeah, if they're paperclip, put yours. Oh, wait. Was that your copy?
This
Okay.
is I will make a motion that the select board authorize the accountant to encumber in the municipal solid waste enterprise fund $906 for expenses as described more specifically below, wage and salary and total wage and salary. Total encumbered, $906 dated December 16th, 2024.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Yeah, because everyone.
Okay, so
So I think this,
this is one, it's the other.
you want us to keep the packet separate though, right?
So we'll do the, do you want to hand them off one at a time? or-
Yeah, we can do that and I'll just make two piles and then we'll paperclip them together. That's fine. Can we read them all and then make a final vote at the end? Okay. So we can always do that too. We already voted on this one, but the next one, just read them all and then we'll just do a vote at the end. And now just make a motion for all of them. And I think you only need to do that first sentence, right, Chris? The amount.
Up here.
Yeah, for each of them.
So I will make a motion, the select board authorize the accountant to encumber in the sewer enterprise fund, $300 for wage and salary accounts. Dated December 16th, 2024. Also, the select board authorized the accountant to encumber in the special revenue fund, $675.15 for wage and salary, dated December 16th, 2024. Also, the select board authorized the accountant to encumber in the ambulance enterprise fund, $24,454.30 for wage and salary accounts, dated December 16th, 2024. Also, the select board authorized the accountant to encumber in the capital project fund, $1 billion 600,
1,000,000.
I'm sorry, $1,639,177.57. A lot of numbers there. For capital expenses, dated December 16th, 2024. Also, the select board authorized the accountant to encumber in the general fund $868,368.86 for wage and salary accounts, which includes funds for all personnel submitting payroll documentation directly to the select board, $15,254.89 for expenses, and $3,213,689.42 for capital. Dated December 16th, 2024.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
No discussion.
Chris, when I was reading these, are these numbers by it, where it says underneath the category, are those account numbers where the money's coming from? So just the transfer from the accounts? Okay. That was it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Chris, I just noticed on the one that I just signed, it says Crystal A. Dufresne. I'm Crystal L. Dufresne. Shall we change that to an L? Yeah, I will.
What change me?
Yeah. On some documents, Chris, if the middle initial's there, we have to sign it with it. Do we have to sign it with? Oh, good. 'Cause I never use my middle initial. Okay. Thank you. right, so this will be, we'll put this one here. Change the name to right, this is that first one. Okay. All right, next on the agenda is to approve and sign 2025 common vic licenses.
Make a motion that Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Town of Granby, certify that Sri Hari Granby Incorporated doing business as Union Mart at 362 East State Street, Granby, Mass. 01033, in said Town of Granby, hereby grant a common vic license in said Town of Granby and that place only, and expires December 31st, 2024, unless sooner suspended or revoked.
Should say
Should say 25.
2025.
This one, there
Oh,
are?
this one, me too.
Okay. Okay, yep, you're right. Thank you. Second one says, yep. So
So
do that one first.
Kathy, did we never do the one?
Mhm.
Oh, because it's until the 31st. Okay, I see. Would you like to second?
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
Any discussion?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Usually we do them around this time, so I think that's fine.
Yeah, that was a table.
I think they're just for you.
Just open. Make a motion, Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Town of Granby, certify that Sri Hari Granby doing business as Union Mart, 362 East State Street, Granby, Mass. In said Town of Granby, in that place only, and expires December 31st, 2025, is granted a common vic license number 2507, dated December 16th, 2024. I apologize, any date on the last one.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Town of Granby, certify that the Granby Booster Club,
Thank you.
385 East State Street, Granby, Mass. 01033, is granted a common vic license in said Town of Granby in that place only, and expires December 31st, 2025. License number 25-08, dated December 16th, 2024.
What was this again?
Booster
Booster
Club.
Club. Did they fill out a waiver? Okay.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
Discussion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now Kathy, if they are a Granby nonprofit, though, they fill out the waiver and then they don't have to pay the fee, right?
And I'm sure she.
Okay.
Well, the waiver is supposed to be submitted prior.
That's what I thought too, but Kathy said that she'll follow up with them for the waiver.
I'll make a motion that the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Town of Granby, certify that Cumberland Farms, store number 6698 at West State and Pleasant Street, Granby, Mass. 01033, is hereby granted a common vic license in said town of Granby and that place only, and expires December 31st, 2025. License number 25-09, dated December 16th, 2024.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
Discussion.
All in favor?
Make a motion, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Town of Granby, certify that Subway of Westfield doing business as Subway, store number 54290 at 47 West State Street, Granby, Mass. 01033, is hereby granted a common vic license in said town of Granby and that place only, and expires December 31st, 2025. License number 25-10, dated December 16th, 2024.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
No discussion.
All in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Town of Granby, certify that Pioneer Valley Chapter 8 of the NAFCA at 104 West State Street, Granby, Mass. 01033, is hereby granted a common vic license in said town of Granby and that place only, and expires December 31st, 2025. License number 25-11, dated December 16th, 2024.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Are there any more common vics, or is that, because that's an entertainment, right? I think that may be the one that might be.
This one, let me tell you. This one is a common.
No, that one's our bigger equipment. Yep. Sorry, I messed you. All right, next is to approve and sign 2025 entertainment licenses. That's old business.
I make a motion, Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Town of Granby, certify that the Pioneer Valley Chapter 8 Camping Club at 104 West State Street, Granby, Mass. 01033 is hereby granted a license for entertainment, live entertainment consisting of DJ, small bands, inside building for members, events only, and live entertainment on patio behind main building between 12 p.m. and 10 p.m. only, located at 104 West State Street, Granby, Mass. This license is granted in conformity with the statutes and ordinances relating thereto and expires December 31st, 2025, unless sooner suspended or revoked. License number 25-02, dated December 16th, 2025.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, we already did our 1-year extension for the solid waste and recycling collection, so we are on to old business. And first is the Winehouse 2025 licenses.
I make a motion, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Town of Granby, certify that the Winehouse and Vineyard at Jameson Farm LLC, 16 East Street in Granby, Mass. 01033, is hereby granted a common vic license in said Town of Granby and that place only, and expires December 31st, 2025. License number 25-05, dated December 2nd, 2024.
I'll second the motion.
Wouldn't that be for today's date though?
I didn't do anything because you guys. We got to change it, so I'm waiting.
You can accept it.
With the 12-2?
Who's continuing
Okay.
from December 2nd.
Any further discussion?
No discussion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any abstain? Any opposed? I'm going to oppose at this time until we have evidence that he can do business in that jurisdiction. No, you said yes, that's all, T.
Make a motion, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Town of Granby, certify that the Winehouse and Vineyard at Jameson Farm LLC, 16 East Street, Granby, Mass. 01033, is hereby granted a license for entertainment as follows: live entertainment consisting of small bands, karaoke, or a DJ located on 16 East Street, Granby, Mass. No more than 56 people in the tasting barn during approved hours of Saturday to Sunday, noon to 9 p.m. This license is granted in conformity with the statutes and ordinances relating thereto and expires December 31st, 2025, unless sooner suspended or revoked. License number 25-02, dated 12/2/2024.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion? We did discuss till 6 p.m. It was 6 p.m. because that's when Mr. Tronky said he played till it was 6 p.m. Yeah.
Jim Tronky, 290 Taylor Street on Winehouse. I object to that. The issue in hand is zoning. We've been licensed for the past year. We have not been in any violations. As a matter of fact, we've operated well within any of the restrictions that we were permitted to or licensed to operate under. So we were allowed to operate between noon and 9 p.m. 7 days a week with our entertainment license. We've on our own will decided that we wanted to close the music off at 6. There's times where
We've had rain delays, bands that have showed up late, and we would have to extend. I think it's outside the zoning. As far as the license go, we haven't done anything outside or of the licensing piece of it. So why would we restrict it? We were licensed to run until 9 o'clock. We chose to close it at 6. And now you're trying to restrict me to 6.
Well, you're the one who sat in front of the board and said the music in front of everyone in town, that the music is done at 6 PM.
At my discretion. You licensed me to begin with until 9 o'clock. We shut the doors at 8. We shut the music off at 6. That's been our discretion to do that statement. Well within the licensing period. Or refrain.
So it is within the board's purview. If we want to restrict it, we can restrict it based on the.
You
complaint.
can now, but if the zoning bylaws change, or if I'm vindicated, you won't have any say on it. I'm trying to be a responsible corporate citizen here, and I'm not feeling too
Well,
good about it right now.
the other thing that you said to us too, when you came in here, is that you would come to us every time with an entertainment license for special events.
You're right. I
But
did say
you
that,
never-
but you're right. I didn't. You know why? Because I was told I had to pull a license for the entire year. So I was told that I had to have a blanket license for the entire year.
Is that true, Chris? Wouldn't it be per event? Or is that something that the board can restrict? Or because it's a business, it's for the year? I'm not sure how that works.
January 1 to December 31st.
Okay. Because it's a business, whereas if it's like a private event that's occurring on somebody's property or something, they would have to come up for that each year.
Talk more like special landing permits.
Okay. Guys have anything you want to discuss? I think we should keep that 6 PM to,
Well, you've already abstained from the other one, so
which I
You-
can abstain from each license.
you can.
Yes.
But
I
that means
could
you
do-
can't, you don't have the right to any input either.
I
You're
didn't
gonna
abstain from this one. I opposed the other one. I didn't abstain. I opposed. So each license is at my discretion.
It is.
So I think, given the issues that are at hand, I think 6 PM, and given that he said that he would honor that and stop the music at 6 PM, I think that should be in the license. I think it should also state on the license that the entertainment is to occur in the tasting barn only, not outside. That's where the alcohol is being served. That's where the entertainment should take place.
So you abstain from something I'm
I didn't
entitled
abstain, I opposed
for which license?
the common vic.
It's where I am, but it's just thinking about me on that side.
Yeah.
I see, I mean, during the summer, I can see going on the river. It's that it's, either done in July or something like that, or a band shows up late. That impacts that part of it, so. We close at 8 o'clock.
9 PM, I thought you said.
The selective memory. I said we close at 8. We're licensed to be open till 9. We close at 8.
You said the last time you were here, you said last call was 8. That you try to close it down by 8, but sometimes it lasts longer. So
We
if it's
close,
closed,
we
that means
close at 8.
everything's done
We're licensed to be open till 9.
What are your thoughts?
No. Last year's license did say till 9 o'clock. I know we have had other discussions. This one also says 9 o'clock now. That's what you're playing.
I think if you close at 8, would 8 o'clock be fair?
No. I specifically asked to stay open till 9. I didn't ask for 10 or 11 o'clock like a lot of other establishments stay open. I said 9 o'clock, and we've operated, my manager's here, we close at 8. Consistently, 8 o'clock. We shut the music off at 6. Once in a while, it may run over a few minutes, but 6 o'clock's the rule. We have had some issues where we've had to pay bands for 2 hours because they showed up late. We're under contract, the weather permitting. And we've closed it down at 6 anyway. We've been operating within the rules of our license.
How often do you think you've gone past 6 p.m.? Yeah,
Once, maybe twice. This may be a moot point.
On 6 p.m. If he's only gone over once or twice, then there should be no problem to stick to 6 p.m.
second, it's a further discussion.
This was the further discussion, so. All in favor of the license as is?
Aye.
Aye.
Any abstain? Any oppose? I oppose. Thank you.
What's up?
Yep.
I will make a motion that the licensing board of the town of Granby, Massachusetts hereby grants a Farmers Series pouring license, 19H Wines and Malt, license to sell and allow samplings of beverages manufactured by the farmer winery to be drunk on the premises to the Wine House and Vineyard at Jameson Farm LLC on the following described premises, 16 East Street, Hasting Barn, Granby, Mass. 01033. This license expires December 31st, 2025, unless earlier suspended, canceled, or revoked. In testimony whereof, the undersigned have hereunto affixed their official signatures the 2nd of December 2024.
I'll second the motion.
Is this the one, Chris, that we talked about with the specific criteria of what building?
The size. We were talking about.
Yeah, we talked about the size the last meeting. And I thought we all were in agreement on that building. So you were at that last meeting too, and we were all in agreement on the size of that building.
And the size of the building?
Well, the building that it was going to be poured in specifically. The pouring license is poured in that building, but you can't take it outside of the building.
No, that's not. The ABCC licensed me to, permitted me to pour.
Yep.
In the area between the tasting room, the patio, and the back building. Your attorney has the map of it now.
Was that the document that we received right before this meeting?
It's-
So you said
Still-
tasting room, patio, and
East of it, so it's between the back building, the manufacturing, and the tasting room.
can I just see this for a second?
Yep.
Yeah, because Chris, all the other licenses we have the building that's being served in, right? Yeah,
Whatever size building.
That works, it has the dimensions, so like, give an example, the
the Legion, right? They say you can do the, the downstairs, the upstairs, and then out back.
right, but it gives you
Okay.
the actual size of the building, the structure building. Like
The
266.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what we were just saying. They have the bottom floor, the top floor, and then outside when they have special events. Okay, which we don't have any of those specifications in this license.
Is there a request for that on the application?
Yeah, I don't know, Chris, was there?
I haven't looked at the application, sorry.
Unless. It just says given location by street and number. I just want to make sure if we're making one business to it, that we make sure every business does it.
Again, these permits are different. This is a farmer's permit issued by the ABCC. It's not, it doesn't even come from the list of your alcohol licenses that you have here in town. It's a totally different license.
Well, it's still a corn license. It would just be a farmer series license, right?
Yeah, but again, the area was, the description of the area was given to the state. State was the ones that,
But if the town has to sign off on it, shouldn't the town also get those specifications?
and we provided those on that.
Just right before this meeting that the board members didn't get to, or the select board members didn't get to review.
Looking at this with the,
Which is the other one? Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
so it does state there.
right. But if we're gonna make other businesses do that with the specification of the building or the dimensions, then I think we should keep that consistent with all the licenses.
But it's not on our application.
But then why does the post 266 have it?
Good question.
Look at the application, for example, it's not on that, it's, there's additional information reporting, that's what they're doing.
Well, I think until the board knows for sure, then we should table it until,
This is our
We have-
application.
right, but you're saying that post 266 is putting additional information on there. You've said it before, if we're gonna do it for one, we've gotta do it for all. So I'm just saying, if we're doing it for one business, then we need to do it for all the businesses.
Yeah, but you're not doing it for any business. It's not on the application.
What I'm saying, it's not on our application.
But yet we regulate it and we specify it on their license.
It's going above beyond our application. So to your point, that's what that we were asking, that should be on our application.
I understand it.
That's the way I'm saying it.
The application is complete.
I'd be more than happy to provide it, which we already have.
Like Mr. Tompkins will provide it, then what's.
And the documentation that was sent, it's there. We voluntarily showed a map of the areas that we're serving.
There is a certificate of inspection in the back. It also states more information. I don't know if it'll satisfy you or not, but it does state the use group, first floor, 54 on the tasting room, bar, storage utility, and a total of 56.
That's the occupancy permit for the building itself.
Right, so, but it does give a little more information.
Do we have the inspection done by the building commissioner as well? Isn't there an inspection that needs to be done? And before these licenses can be issued? I only see the fire chief. Okay. So I only see the fire chief something.
Isn't this the, this one isn't the.
No, that's the fire chief. That's from 2023.
Sorry.
I only have one.
From the 2023, so nothing from 20.
From 25, I've only got one. I can't send them to, the agency until it was when, please stand.
Oh, okay.
Third one that, that was a day that they received it recently.
Okay.
Are you looking for the sign?
No, it says, no, I was just looking because it has all these different exhibits, but it says exhibit I and there's nothing there. It's a blank paper. So, just looking.
There is an exhibit. I evidently didn't remember format, didn't print for you folks. Well, I know I come off as a little frustrated, but we've been operating without any issues other than a noise variant, a noise concern. We're not doing anything there you couldn't do at a residence, right? Band, we close at 6. Our decibels are well below the allowed use. We're closing earlier than we said than what we're licensed to do. And there's nothing here with the licensing that has changed. We haven't violated anything. Now all of a sudden there's an issue with zoning. A perceived issue with zoning.
Is there more than a concern of the structure size or?
No, I think, I just want to be consistent. We're gonna, restrict to building parameters like we do other businesses, then I get what you're saying, that maybe they're providing more. But I haven't been on the board that long to know if they're providing more, or if that's something that we specified in the past to one business and we're not specifying it to another one.
But Mr. Trump, you did say you'd be glad to.
Yeah, and I don't see the mentions in here. I just see exhibit A, B, C, D. So
If I can pull it up.
I do see, actually, it says 52 feet by 20 feet, but it says new kennel. So this one's an old one
Yeah,
from
that's-
That's
1987.
an old building.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's talking about previous use. Yeah, property. Chris, after we sign it, it goes to the ABC.
After the inspections are done, Kathy said she can't sign it without the
Right.
inspection.
So, the board is waiting on dimensions. We can still go through the process now before it gets sent to the ABC. Mr. Poppy already said he's willing to provide dimensions of the property or the buildings.
Who sends it to the
So,
ABC?
so for some reason, those exhibits didn't print out. We have them here on the phone, so. May I approach?
So, Mr. Trumpy, on June 27, 2022, I was actually a part of the board then. You actually specified 18-acre parcel. And on both East and Morgan Street, 4 buildings on site, residential 2-story, a wood frame 2-story barn, 1-story metal building. And this was for your license, for your pouring license. And it says the tap room is a total of 1,575 square feet with 4 entrances, 4 exits, and seating capacity of 60 people. So that was to pour in the tap room only. So that was in 2022. And then 2023, you said tap room 1,682 square feet.
That's the tap room.
Right, but it doesn't specify on 2022 or 2023 another area besides the tap room. So the 2024
Okay,
said
that's what I
the
tried.
2 additional
That's-
places.
That's what I tried explaining to you. Originally, that was with the state. Kathy called the state when there was a question about, we had patrons outside. And the investigator said, no, we're well aware of it. The patio, between the 2 buildings, and this is. Yeah.
Yeah. Please.
This is what was sent to you. For some reason, your exhibits didn't come down.
Which doesn't have the dimensions though, at the specifics, but it has the layout. So the tasting room, this area right here.
Tasting room is the blue building.
Yeah.
Right here, and then the patio, and this is the area
Where it's actually being produced.
and the
So-
back is where it's being produced.
Okay, so serving here, and here, or just
Just
these two?
within the, is what.
Oh, okay, okay.
I see.
In here, just, you know. And the ABCC did approve it. But we did have dimensions on the old one.
That was just to the building. That was for the occupancy permit.
Okay.
So here, that's here.
Right, but we were looking for the dimensions, but.
Would you like it measured out?
Again, whatever the board decides, I just think that we need to do the same for everyone.
Didn't I read it somewhere that it was listed, the tasting room was listed as,
I've got two different measurements here. I've got 1575 and then I got 1682, so I've got two different.
so does the 1682 include the property right outside the building within that green area?
1682 what?
Square
Square
feet?
feet.
No,
No.
Yeah, that's just
the building's right around 1,200 square feet, so the rest
So
of the
there
area
it
is much
I think-
larger now.
I think if Mr. Trump, you is very willing to provide the information, I think that's fine. But also going forward, if we look at an application, if the application is not requiring information, then it should be on our application for that.
Should be on the form.
Right.
So,
Right, the application. So unless this is different, and that's something we'll have to look into, whether this is a different application than it's different company, which are the region post in 266, so. we're gonna get
Kathy,
that.
do you have the 2024 license? I have the 2022, the 2023. Do you have the 2024?
Not right, I want to open it. The
No, that's okay. I was just wondering if on the 2024, when he filled it out, if he put dimensions on there, because I have them on the 2022 and the 2023, just not in the 2025.
No, we didn't change anything between years
Between the 2 years.
that I recall.
That's our point.
Right, but that's not the one for, this is the one for 2025 is what I'm saying. So I was looking for this one, the 2020. It's the state one that he had filled out and told him where he was serving. So he's saying now on the one that he did for 2024 and 2025, it's the 3 areas. As opposed
No,
to
it's
just
the
the
same-
top
it's the same area.
So this is,
2022 or 2023.
but this is to the state.
Yeah.
This is, sorry, this is actually our license. This is the town of Granby.
Yep.
This is the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Right?
But if he's gonna use the ABCC on what he's applying for them as what he's been approved. I just wanted to see what he put on there for
Oh,
the
okay.
specifications. All right, so Glenn, you were saying that in order for all of these license, doesn't it have to have the specifications on there before we approve them? Or do we approve them pending the specifications and the inspection done by the building commissioner and fire chief?
I think we can approve it pending it, because
Okay.
we're just approving it, and still have to go to the ABC, be finalized with this
Yeah.
information.
With those
Mr. Tronti's
inspections?
already said that, but again, I think this board is, if we're requiring certain information, then that should be on our
For,
application for that. Because the applicant is filling out the application, to be completed. So at this point, this application is completed.
All right, so a motion was made a second and we had further discussion. So is everyone in agreement with the specifications and pending the inspection from the fire chief and the building commissioner?
I agree.
Mr. Trump, you'll provide the information, but
Fire chief do I provide it to?
It's probably gonna be the interim
it'll be an interim.
or the deputy
We don't have an interim.
We have the assistant
chief.
chief, assistant
The
chief.
assistant chief would be accepted.
Because he's actually, we'll have to double check on that as far as the license. But he's the assistant chief, so.
Tyler's not on the last one.
He did,
From the side.
okay. Which is that Tyler's deputy chief.
With certified sign, all inspections.
Okay, good.
We are waiting on building commissioner. The inspection, he's waiting behind. We're waiting for him on the outside. But we just have some there. So.
Thank you.
you.
Thank you. Okay. So we don't need another motion on the board. The board's is agreeing on that. So all in favor? Aye. You have them, so you sign it first and then pass them down. Do we have, paper clips or no?
Loaded by.
Yeah, so there's two of the pouring and then there's two for the brewer.
So you approve that pending inspections and
Dimensions.
Mentions,
so you want the actual measurements?
yes.
Thank you. Bam.
I make a motion, the licensing board of the town of Granby, Massachusetts hereby grants a farmer brewing pouring license to sell and allow samplings of beverages manufactured by the farmer brewery to be drunk on the premises. Winehouse and Vineyard at Jameson Farm LLC on the following premises, 16 East Street, Tasting Barn, Granby, Mass. This license expires December 31st, 2025, unless earlier suspended, canceled, or revoked. In testimony whereof, the undersigned have hereunto affixed their official signatures this second day of December 2024 with a license number of 07728-PP-0458.
Second motion.
And any further discussion? I would just ask that the board does the same for the brewery as it does for the wine. So dimensions and pending inspection from the building commissioner and the deputy fire chief.
It's fine. We have the copy of it anyway, so.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, I forgot to do something. Go ahead. And we both forgot to talk about that.
Yeah, we need this.
I'll pass it back to you after Glenn gets his too.
Quick question. Your end's coming up very shortly. I'm told the building inspector's backed up. If he's not completed his inspections and has made it to my establishment, how does that work out for me starting the first of the year?
Chris, would you be able to answer that? How does that work? Because his pouring licenses are expired. Now, I think the licenses renew, but I don't know how it works with the state. They renew for the town if the town doesn't get to it. So it's based off the previous year's license until the select board gets to it. But how does that work for the state? Yeah, I don't know either.
You'll find out, Chris, right? Okay, Paul. Yeah. That's a good point, so I mean, we should,
Well,
yeah,
this has to be completed before it goes to the state.
right.
So,
So we need the inspections.
or a waiver.
So we'll find out that Chris or Kathy will make a call tomorrow, what their options are for that, because you're right. I can't imagine this is the first time it's happened anywhere, so.
Chris, will you reach out to Mr. Tromke on that, or do you want him to call you and check in with you?
I would imagine that they would just extend it until.
That's. And if he says, can't get it done before in a timely fashion, then we contact the state to go do it again.
Kathy, do you have to send it over on the 31st?
Yeah.
So if they receive it on the 31st and everything's good, but it has to be.
No, we need to do our part. We have an
Yeah.
obligation as a town.
All right, they'll reach out to you and let you know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chris, do you want to do the fire chief ad first or the proposed chief, fire chief screening committee?
Why don't we do the first?
Okay. Yeah.
I think you had you're gonna set a salary rate.
I did do some research, so I wanted to run it by the board. So, when I looked this up online, the average salary for a fire chief in the United States as a whole is $129,550, but the average in Mass is $112,529. The pay range in Massachusetts, depending on the size of the community, is anywhere from 71,000 to 164,000. So our salary range, or our salary, it states it's just 95,000. It doesn't give a range. So if we get someone that's less qualified, if we get someone that's more qualified, I think that there should be a range there. Yeah. So now as the accountant, what can we financially afford?
What was that current chief at? Our
I think
previous
he was
chief?
at 95, right?
Yeah.
It was at 100 and
Okay.
104. 105.
So if the average in Mass is 112,529, do you think it would be reasonable to put a range of 95 to 115? 95,000 to 115,000 to give that range? If the average in the state of Massachusetts is 112 is what I'm saying. And, it depends on the size of the town, the community, how big the department is and so forth. So I was just trying to give a little bit wiggle room.
I think we start, there's 105,000.
I know what you're saying, the salary range,
Yeah,
but this is a contract when it comes to negotiation, that kind of, there's an incentive job. It's not like someone's coming in and already a pay grade set, you know, it's not talking 75,000, but 85,000. There's already a pay grade set. This is based on, we may hire someone that has 20 years experience. We may hire someone that's, 8 years experience. It's making a difference. to
where they start.
That becomes part of the negotiation, I think. And I think as soon as you set a number, you're no longer, to me, being fair practice in negotiations, you guys are not going higher than this. This is our salary range. That's right. I think we're going to just leave it at this will start. This is what we're.
Oh, so just have a starting and ending.
It does say salary is 95 to be negotiable, negotiated.
What's the negotiable?
With experience.
Okay. So keep that, the 95 is what you're saying?
I think we go, previous chief's at 105, just based on his time. This is going back a couple of years ago, cost of living's gone up. So it's fair that we go get 105.
Is there a possible answer for what we can afford for the town of Granby, Chris?
Well, we can definitely afford 105 because that's what we're gonna
Right.
pay. So originally, we were on that contract, but we were going to be on contracts anyways. And I say this, based on some of the other contracts that's gone out, whether it's 3% or 4%, just kind of take a look at that. We're going to do the math. We would do a salary range for a 3-year period.
It's not a simple answer just to say what you do. Because if you're gonna start looking at other aspects. That has to factor into it also. Okay, are we gonna continue to send the firefighters to the academy? Okay, we were doing that, but it was never budgeted in the budget. Those are issues that we ran. Okay, so you sort of have to look at it globally and find out what is the plan of the town to do with this too? Are we gonna hire more paramedics? Are we gonna hire more firefighters? What are we looking at doing in the future? Okay, I think we currently have 5 full-time paramedics. Do we want to hire another one? Do we want to make a plan to hire one a year for the next 5 years to get that 5 to 10? I don't know what the plan is on the part of the board or the future fire chief. Okay, because when we had an interim, she had come to me after talking about the staffing. And she said, yes, they needed more. In order to do, we had one additional year. That way it was slow. Instead of saying, okay, we need 5 and go hire 5 immediately.
Yeah.
Okay, that becomes an issue. But you're looking at hiring 2 students. That's another scenario you would have to go through. I think I have to know what the board is planning to do to address this. Okay, and the board can answer, but you don't know when it's going to. Okay, I can sit there and I can look at historical trends. Okay, but the issue with this, we have to be able to know what leadership the fire department is looking for, and can we find. That's part of the problem. Hey, we're going to get the budget season for FY 26. We have to have some idea of what we're doing now because somebody's going to have to put a budget together for 26 because I don't think you're going to have a sitting fire chief in time to be able to put a budget together for the next fiscal year.
But my previous conversations that we had at the last board meetings that assistant chief and deputy chief have been talking with previous chief about the budget and stuff like that moving forward. we're in December, which is the January discussions anyway, so they've already been talking about it, so I think that at least then those two have understanding where they are at this point.
I don't know to what extent.
No. Yeah, but some of it's there already, from the previous budgets. And I think this board we have to work with the income chief too. To get to where we need to be for the next fiscal year, next budget, but also reassuring that our next fire chief has a proper budget coming into that fiscal year. That's gonna be fiscal year 25, and by that time, or 26, and by that time we'll have a new fire chief, and you want to make sure that they're properly funded for that new fire chief when he goes into that position. So I think we want to do, some work with the interim chief, deputy chief, and the assistant chief, and we look at a solid budget for fiscal year 26. Move forward.
With that said, I did a little bit of math. Starting at the 95,000, which was here in our paperwork. 3% at 3 years brings it up to 103,550. So it is between the 102 and 105,000 mark. So I think that it needs to be budgeted in.
If you want, what would you?
That-
The thing that you can go around. There's like 100, and it probably may have been over 2 years ago. I may have done it. I'm not sure. I've been doing it. So,
I think we put it at 102, 105, 103 as a starting point, or a starting point. Maybe 103 is fine.
you don't want to do
Well, he said 102, 103, 105.
Well, I'm just saying, we started off with say
Around
102,
that.
we went up to 105, and where'd you come up with the 3%?
Yeah, I just took this 95,000, 3% a year, comes up to 8550, which gets us to 103,550.
after it started.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were up a little higher with him.
So we
So,
started at 103.5. Starting, yeah, that's what I'm recommending to the board, we'll start off at 103.5.
So $103,500.
That's a starting, like I said, it's some negotiation on the contract.
yes,
There's nothing.
I agree.
Yeah. For instance, we have a contract, you may say, or she may say, I want 5% each year. It puts us over the rate you're talking about, so. It'll be a starting point, we'll go from there.
And Chris, the other question I had about the posting for the fire chief is it says residency in the town of Granby is required within 1 year of appointment. Is that something that has always been required? Because that kind of shortens our pool.
No. If
Okay.
that controls the field, because it says, you have to be a resident within 1 year. So they can count it outside. You changed. In the last screen, it was being funded.
Yeah.
They asked to allow you to be within 5 miles of a station. You can change, you can make that change also. Right? Make it 10 minutes, make it 5 minutes, make it 15. It's up to the board what they're looking for.
Okay.
If you're gonna take a 5-mile radius, to take, just put it on the map, and draw your 5 miles. That would include Buffalo, that would include part of Chicopee, Hadley, South Hadley,
Belchertown. Amherst,
maybe a part of Amherst, I don't know.
piece of Amherst. I mean, I'm on the Amherst line. I'm only 4 miles from the fire station, so it could be Amherst Bay Road is right there.
That's the point that came up before, is that someone actually live in South Alley and be closer, and someone lives.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So that was,
right.
they came up with a radius.
Yeah. I
Yeah, too, I think, just get them, listen to the, home values of the big number. Yeah, I think it's fair to ask someone to move in here. I mean, if someone's within a certain radius, as long as they can respond. at the Same amount of time, but if it's the
Yeah.
fire department or fire center. I think that's fair to say. And, it's tough for someone to, sell a house and But, you know, if you live in a house that you got done building and, you know, in the community, the average home is like $400,000. Very difficult for some people.
So then that should come out of the, posting
Yeah, I think you just have a certain,
residency within 5 miles of the station.
I don't thought about, I mean, you said it's, James 4 miles was.
Yeah, I'm about 4 miles. I mean,
So. Yeah. It's 5 mile radius, it's 5 mile radius. I think that's fair.
That's right. Next week, Alan?
Yes, you can.
We considered that in the last search committee. And, we were talking about radius, it's different than road miles. So
absolutely.
That brought us into Ludlow, brought us into Chicopee, and it's a straight line. And it brought us close to the Springfield border, brought us into Holyoke and East Hampton. And because you're on top of the mountain, that's how far the radius extended out.
Okay, so it'll give
We
a
could-
wide range.
We considered that the last time.
Okay.
That's all. This was ceiling of 5, is it, and that's what, as a crow fly, as a crow flies, it's a straight.
So that could be, now, but as straight as a crow flies, that could turn into 8 or 10 miles.
So you're thinking 5 miles is too far?
When it's, see, fire doesn't wait for everybody. And when we need a chief there, we need him there.
So it's,
So that's something that the search committee could see if we revisit.
well, we're thinking, us going forward, need to have a direction for the search committee. So how long would it take you to get to the fire?
By road from my house to get to the fire station, I'm about 6-7 minutes. At the speed limit. If I'm
So
If I'm driving.
Are we,
at the speed limit, if I'm in.
what do we consider, instead of saying as far as distance wise, if we want time frame? Because that's what really matters, how, we're saying how quick, so
So-
the fire department, that's what we're looking for. Time frame.
So what, Joe, may I ask you a question, please?
Sure.
What is your average response time for a volunteer, let's say? And is there a radius?
So you just look in the county, Granby. If you live in the outreaches, like Forest Point, Carver Street.
Right,
in that
I'm on
corner,
Harris, so that's the
You're in that
farthest.
far corner there.
Yeah.
They're even moving at a decent speed. It's 6-7 minutes to the station.
Right,
That's about a 3-mile circle. Right there. You get a profile. When I did that, I was at a community. A chief coming in at night, we always have a duty officer, we always have someone that's in town. Get it started. If it's a bigger event, I think a 10-minute response time is fair. Just get you in that 5-mile circle that we're talking about. I mean, truthfully, I can be 8 miles away, but I'm on the other end of 202, it's a straight shot. If I put someone in the other part of Belchertown, 7 miles away, it could be 20 shot. So really, it's
Right, that's something.
it's hard to really pinpoint that. It's like trying to draw a chief in up to the courthouse. And some of the prospects we had were coming from different states, and a lot of them didn't feel like they could manage that for years time with their situation at home, moving their kids, whatever you gotta look at. But it's a very hard thing to pick. 20 years ago, it was hard to get a house at a decent price. 5 years ago, it wasn't. Now it's, a 2-bedroom is 300,000, and it's $100,000.
Yeah.
So we got to be very flexible to draw a good candidate.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of by saying they had to live in Granby, that we were narrowing the pool down.
That was the original post. When we did the second, when we did the interviews, the Canadian everyone got permission to change that radius. We did the 5-mile radius, which, like you said, it gets a little farther out in some spots.
Yeah.
But depending where you live, it's hard to say. You can live somewhere that's not happening, and still not good.
So, I just want to make sure that
For now.
radius,
And then the committee does its work, and we get some candidates, we be there at the front. the committee does, and we have, explain why we need to have them here. Because the type of fire department we are, we're not a big city, we don't have 5 deputies and everything else sit around. We need that support to be here as soon as possible.
I think if we give a range of up to 5 miles, I think it's okay. Range. Yeah, because I think that just to the point where we give a time frame.
Lights, traffic.
Well, that's it. Someone could be there much quicker just based on, then you get into a time thing where, okay, if this is distance. We can take you 15 minutes to go, 5 miles, or we can take you 20 minutes. It all depends, but then if you stay with a distance where it's set. We move forward, yeah. I think last time we were 5 miles, right?
Yeah.
We stayed.
We give them a lot more choice.
Yeah.
For sure.
So Chris, this one hasn't been posted yet, just the interim. So for this posting, it will go out tomorrow with the changes, right? Or the next day, whenever you guys can get it out soonest. So when do we want the deadline for the applications to be in? January, like, do you give 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks?
I think at least
I
4
think
weeks.
4 weeks.
At least, yeah.
So if we put it out on the 17th, then we should get it by January 17th, which is a Friday. If we do it 30 days. Or do you want to do, well, let's do, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be January 14th.
I think we go to 17th. That's a Friday.
It's a Friday.
By Friday at 4 o'clock.
So you got 1, 2.
Well, they close at 3 here. 3:30.
Well, they can email stuff in. You think set a time and that's, yeah. Yeah.
Right. So
Um,
let's say Friday.
yeah, I gave them 2 weeks in December, basically, and 3
Yep.
weeks in January.
That's fair.
This one. So I could do January 17th.
Okay. And there was no time on the last one. Do we have to put a time on it? Okay. Just making sure.
Time to do.
Yeah, I've seen that on other applications, we have a deadline for RFPs, it's usually, right?
January 17th. If they're gonna mail it just to business. If you send an email, it's timestamped anyway.
Yeah.
Right. That's,
So,
Right, I didn't see anything else in the or in the posting that needed to change, though. I think it was pretty consistent with the intro that you had. Do you have to say, Chris, I had to look up your abbreviation in the interim fire chief for the DOQE. Depends on qualifications and experience? Is
Yes.
that, okay. There's so many acronyms, so I had to look that up. I was like, what does he mean by that?
some people just say DOE, depending on experience, some say depending on qualifications. But we're looking at experience and qualifications in furniture.
And then do you leave that last posting will remain active until the position is filled? Or do we want to just
No,
take them until then and then see what we have? And then if we have to
We can always
repost,
reopen.
repost.
I would reopen that.
Okay.
The last time we did this, we did something. Strong chief. We put in the interim. Following that quick category, strong chief or something. We did something like that last time, so we protected the town. First, so we appoint someone for that tradition. The town supports strong chief, so. We had something written into it that. Into.
The interim, yeah.
We did the contract.
We did a contract, it was something that.
For the interim, we signed that they were,
Right.
or appointed under Mass General Law.
Where we need to.
Yes. That was in the contract, we dealt with that.
All right, Chris. And what do you have? So are we good on that?
I'm good, yes.
And then the proposed.
All right,
Go
so January 17th,
Yep.
25.
Yep.
1035,
Yes.
5 mile radius.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
5 and a 5 mile
and you're taking off, posting will remain active until the
Yes.
position is filled.
Yep.
All right, what do you got for the proposed fire chief?
Well, it's not really a proposal, it's names.
Okay.
We have to contact people. If you think it's names, I want to put out these, if the board has everybody knows their names.
Okay,
See. Person I have is Ron Mastro. He's the former captain. George. Tyler Yvonne, the deputy chief. I was looking because I was looking at either Dave or Crystal, who would be selecting the. I was looking at Anthony Serena. He seems to speak well at all the. And I was looking at Lieutenant.
that puts it at 6. Okay,
So it's 5.
okay, so we would be the ex officio, right?
Like I said, these are just names I was putting together.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to get.
Yeah.
Get that in place. For the next, they can-
Anyone else you can think of?
And Ron's a former captain, right? I like that with former chief on there.
I was gonna say, are there people from the last committee? That might be.
Who's on the last? George. Okay,
Let's stay away this time. I will assist if somebody asks questions. Yes, sir. I don't like spank from, he is a, he is, I'll send you very good.
It's a former chief there, right?
Still choosing.
Oh, he's still chief?
What's that name?
From like spank, you go. SPANK, I think it's NEBEL. NEGL. But it was
NAGEL.
I think it's important to
It's a weird spell.
a former chief or current chief on there.
Yeah.
You have someone that has been at that level. Type of position.
Whoever the interim chief is, if they want to be on it. If former chief's still around. Dennis? They second.
Yeah.
You got Russ Anderson, who put his name in for interim.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, but he put in for the,
So Dennis and Russ.
I think Dennis will give it to, yes, get right.
Outside of it.
Sherlinsky. But he's not doing it with anyone.
Well, can we contact the chief from Hadley? Two people said he did an excellent job on the last.
Mike's pretty good.
I'm just throwing names out and trying to get.
No, but I'm just saying, he's a current chief, so he's up to date on everything that's going on. But there was just two people that said that he was on the last committee and did an excellent job.
Okay, like I said, it's current with everything. Maybe if for some reason doesn't want to, then we can look at other people. That's just my thought.
Well, we have 8 names on, I have 8 names that I'm looking at.
But the interims, we wouldn't ask to be on it. The ones that are applying for the interim.
Which would be Russ right now.
And Dennis.
Oh, and Dennis, okay, I'm sorry.
So we would have 7 with 1 being an ex officio member, so we'd have to either add 1 more or get rid of 1.
Yeah, but Russ was here 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Sounds like, yeah.
Also about the. Somebody they want to consider who's got, who's on the department, too.
Yeah, I thought about Bruce at one point, but, you know, I'm not sure.
Well, we can look at, I mean, so we have, actually, right now we have 2 chiefs,
2
previous chiefs that are on for the interim. Obviously, we can't take both of them, we're considering one of them. So, after we get our interim, that we can choose, you know, some report, because I say that this is going out till January 17th anyway, so we have a month. I like to have an interim in place before then.
We're meeting for the interim on the 2nd, yeah.
So we'll have some in place, so, you know, one of these chiefs will be available. Not both.
Chris.
Someone will be available, so we want to pick one.
That's true.
So,
And Chris, for the interim interviews that we're gonna be doing, do you guys have questions that you've already asked, or is the board coming up with their own questions to ask the interims?
We can give you questions that we think we asked them.
Okay.
I guess you can ask the same of the interim, which we know in the regular version.
And then if we have our own questions that we want to add, we can add them during the interview. Okay.
Sounds good.
So Chris, you'll reach out to the ones that we know for sure. With my subtracting the interims for now until after the interview.
So we have Ron after, right?
Yep.
George. And George already said he'd be willing to do it. Tyler.
Yep.
I have Anthony Turner. Lieutenant Leone. Now, is it Dave or Crystal? You want to say?
I'll do it. I'll go into the.
We talked, is that a name that we were
No,
considering?
Mike Speckenagel.
Mike Speck.
Mike Speck,
Mike
there you go.
Speck.
And then after the interim, either,
Or number two.
yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Well, one. Yeah. You need an odd number.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Again, I'm just trying to fast track.
No, appreciate it. I think we have to. All right, so, other old business, anything for us from SDOT?
No.
Now, were they putting up lights at Amherst Street intersection? Because I don't see any poles there. I see the poles for the street lights themselves. Right, but I thought they were putting up poles on Amherst Street because remember you were asking if they were gonna pave it and I thought we were waiting for poles. Well, like a light pole or
No,
something?
no, we're getting, I think because they're gonna pay that whole area at once.
So they're gonna wait to pave
Yeah.
Amherst Street until the poles on
Pole
Pleasant
doesn't
Street. Okay. For some reason I thought, when you said that, I thought the pole, there was,
All the plants are closed, so.
okay, because of the,
Can't get,
okay.
So are they leaving barricade up, I hope, so that the trucks aren't running into it?
I have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah, I should
Yeah.
hope so.
But if something happens, it's on their dime.
Yeah.
That's the,
I believe the cones that are there, is they're not holes, those.
The barrel
Yeah.
hose,
Is the best we're getting. What I understand, Lipinski Electric is gonna work through most of the winter, trying to get those lights ready. That's no more real. Have you? Mass work have you seen? Is it, you see, small trucks just working on wiring and stuff like that, but I'll see when people see anything major at the quarters now until
Okay,
the spring.
spring.
Way DOT's on.
I hope it doesn't create too many problems traffic wise.
no, well, the only thing I worry about is, if you get a big snowstorm, just those barrels are gonna get pushed.
I'm concerned with the plots, actually.
The edge.
Jason, or
Yeah.
the sewer.
Right.
Those conversations, I know Dave talked to
Yeah.
DOT bosses, and
Yeah.
I reached out to some people too, and then this is what we have.
So it's the state that's responsible for 202, but all the side streets we're responsible for. So as we're coming off of the Amherst Street, right?
Well, I'm gonna say part of that measurement, that's the part of their works.
That's their work.
Okay,
So, I think, just kind of like the town owns X amount from the center of the road,
Yeah.
there must be something, I don't know what the law says, but there must be something about, that has to be part of the state's property, they're doing the work. We're not paying any of that.
Well, it's their work.
Yeah, we can come down to the court.
About our problem.
yeah,
I like to say, I mean, because where the part that got widened, the curve is actually to the point where it used to be, where the drop off is. There's a couple inches different than asphalt. My concern is it starts snowing that they're gonna push those barrels.
I agree.
Go. I mean, I think the width will probably still be there, it's just the damage to those barrels and they get pushed, and that's my concern with that, so, but.
They can still have full traffic in there.
Because I mean, and I know previously, they either bank the snow to the left or they bank it to the right. So they have to probably push it up on the side where, the other side of the corner. Because when they come down, they're plowing right into 202, so those, like I said, the barrels will come into play. Because before, there used to be a parking lot or actually grass or something like that, so got pushed onto that. But that's, sure David's well aware of it, and he knows what to do.
I'm sure.
Yeah. And if I know David, he'll probably be the one over there plowing. It'll be him doing it.
All right, so I know we put our meeting with other committees and boards, we put that off until January, right? Until after the holidays. Yeah,
I've heard that option too. I've not heard,
conservation. Okay. Curbside collection, we just extended it, so now we're,
I know that's to remind you to
DEP.
get the RFP.
Didn't work that well.
curbside collection RFP start. So the personnel board was gonna review the instrument because we're on several of the contracts, we have them doing, or the chief or the department head doing reviews on the employees, but they don't have an instrument that they can use, so whatever, I know the last time we talked, we said that they were gonna review it and then submit it to the select board for approval, so we still need to hear They still have to
Yep.
meet for it?
Yeah.
Okay.
What has been the response from, have they responded to the?
Okay.
Bill.
Yep.
Yes.
Wayne,
Resigned because he's not in the area. He's enjoying it.
Did we have,
You can zoom in.
did we have Glenn on that? Was Glenn Durham on the
He's
first one?
number 3,
Okay.
Glenn,
Yep.
Rob Shelton, and Jeff Gould.
Okay. All right, so you'll reach out to them and see when they can meet. Okay. And then for Open Space Committee, he did give us his final draft, Derek from Pioneer Valley Planning Commission. So we are reviewing it this week. Any changes that we want made, we have to get back to him so that he can make the deadline because the grant is up December 31st. So he shall be submitting it then. So that's where we stand with open space. I will be looking for the grant for the freshwater dredging. That comes out in January. So I'm hoping they do it again. So we missed it last year. And then Forge Pond updates. We already heard from, I always want to say Leonard, but it's Lennart. So that's still moving along. All right. And then Park and Recreation Department, we said we would meet.
Jim Petrus, yeah,
Okay.
Jim Petrus on something.
Okay.
Good, thank you.
Nice. All right, I know we got a lot going on, you guys. Does anyone have anything else they would like to discuss next time? Oh, yes.
we had one more appointment up there for, that, bird mark for the charity. That was.
Oh, is that in the appointments folder? Okay. That's why I missed it. It should be, is that the appointment one? I think that's correspondence.
Oh, sorry. It's correspondence.
Departmental appointments. So Anne, we did. Lynn, and, oh, there we go. Leora.
Okay, got it.
One person on the voting, it.
Yep,
Okay.
thank you for the reminder.
Do you want me to read through any of this just so?
So we did, just so the board knows, I did go to the Charter Day Committee meeting last week. I met with them. It seems like a very go-getter group, very like they want to work together and they want to make this happen. So a couple of the people that went there were not sworn in. And her name was not put on the list, so she would like to join. Think of it.
How many with that though?
Well, actually, a couple of them didn't know about the meeting because we don't have numbers or email addresses. It was just a Facebook.
But how many
Message.
members are sworn in now? Let me make sure.
I don't know how many are sworn in.
We gotta make sure we say with an odd number.
Well, then you have people who sign up who don't take the appointment, so I don't know how many. I would have to call Kathy.
Yeah. I wanna make sure we have an odd
Regan
number
to
because that
find
still
out.
in the votes. They could-
Is it-
You're not on there.
So the people that were at the meeting that could vote was Randy Gobbin. He was the chair, or the people who could vote voted him as chair. Glenn Durham is vice chair. Give me a second. Amanda Paquin is corresponding recording secretary. Kim Kibbe is corresponding secretary, and she would like to share that role with Leora Bergeron, but Leora could. So those 1, 2, 3. Steve Saborn and Bev Saborn were also, they were sworn in. Kim Kibbe was not sworn in, so she's pending.
But she's been appointed, so let's
Well,
get sworn in.
Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I know John Seismonic was on there, but he didn't know about the meeting, so he wasn't there.
And there's a couple more in here. Here's one, which I don't think is in there anymore. Right one?
No. I feel volunteer.
Right.
But they don't have time for any more meetings. The select boards keep me awfully busy.
All right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So there's 16 that were indicted, and Leora was one of the 16. Her name was on the list, but she hadn't been appointed yet. So out of those, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. She would be the 9th. Because Martin, Will, Liberty, you, and Sue. Okay, so she would be the 9th. So you have 9 voting members.
Okay.
But we did send appointments to John Seismonic and Susan Knightley, who haven't been sworn in. So we don't know if they're gonna take it. So that would be 11 if they both did.
We can have non-voting members too.
You can have non-voting members. Yep.
Somebody we want, we have one non-voting member.
Right.
Get them that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would their appointment have to say that they're non-voting members then? So if they sign the appointment, given that they are part of the Charter Day Committee and then they don't get sworn in, then we make them the non-voting members? Okay. All right, then that works.
Okay, so we'll make a motion to appoint Leora Bergeron of 142 West Street, Granby, Mass. 01033, to the Granby Charter Day Committee for
Term expires.
term expires 6/30/25. Thank you. She
I thought you had
did.
it.
She did.
Very good.
She did have it here. She did have it here.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
No discussion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so one of the things that was in the correspondence, I know it's late and people just want to get out of here, so don't kill me right now, was the regional energy manager positions that was shared with us through
PVPC.
PVPC. So they are asking if we would like to be part of it. If we want to be part of it, we have to fill out the application. So, basically,
We were originally part of the group that were included in the application. But we already brought that to the board, and the board agreed to join and share that,
Yeah,
share
okay.
energy manager.
but now they're saying that we have to apply for the grant?
Yeah.
Okay, that's why I was so confused.
Because Ludlow was the lead community.
Okay,
And we had sent our document to PVPC indicating that the board that wanted to participate in the shared energy manager. So I don't understand why we have to do another application if we had already indicated that we wanted to when the application was submitted through Ludlow.
so is that something that we need to ask them now?
Well,
Like, why are we applying again? Or they're telling us we have to apply, right?
right,
if we wanna
because
be
like
part
I
of
said, we were part of the original group that said yes.
Well, we can pose the question, it might be just oversight on.
It could be a form letter to other people who were,
Right.
Yeah.
if they're interested.
So just, Chris, do you want to send him an email and just say, could we clarify, are we part of the original or do we have to reapply? Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Because we were told what the projected budget was going to be for us.
Yep.
For the next 3 years, I think it was.
So it said, well, it says that a full-time position, Eversource or National Grid will give up to $120,000 per year one. And year two, if they're full-time. If they're part-time, they're gonna give $60,000. But then it says that the payment is set by the municipality. So I'm like, so you're gonna give, so that's not what the position, what the salary is.
What they ended up doing
Okay,
after they put the application. Because at one point, we realized it wasn't going to be enough. Now,
yeah,
just one person.
right,
So we're looking at possibly having to have 2 full-time positions to
okay,
meet all the needs of the communities that were interested originally.
Yeah, and the applications are due January 31st, so I don't want to miss out on this opportunity.
Well, I
I
got
just.
That's the spirit.
Would you like me to follow up with the email? Okay, Chris will follow up with the email. You were just kidding, right, Chris?
That might fall into the accountant's responsibility.
Oh, no, I don't think. For payroll and bills and, the reports required for DOR. That's it.
All right, so that's all sorry guys, that's all I wanted to bring up. So,
Sorry.
Chris, for the stormwater and the dog bylaw, we want to put that on the back burner for now. But I mean, we've got to, like you said, we have to make sure that we have a meeting, a special town meeting for that in the near future, but we also have to have enough information to be able to have, well, we have to have the hearing.
Stormwater, we have created a draft bylaw 2 or 3 years that we never brought forward.
Was that when we were under the 10th?
No.
Okay.
I think this is before,
Okay.
and it just went off to the races.
Okay. So it's drafted, we just have to see it through. Okay. And make sure that it's up to Mass General Law regulations now. EPA? Okay. So we'll wait until after the hiring
Yeah.
meetings and everything, and then we'll address it then.
We have a fire chief and a
Yeah,
town administrator.
yes, we do.
Fire right now. Yes.
All right.
I will make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I shall second that motion.
Any further discussion?
Discussion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.